last week in an interview, what advice would I give women coming into the automotive field? Grow thick skin. That's number one. Find someone to be in your corner, a mentor, a champion, whatever you want to call them. Find someone that's going to be in your corner and be on your team and is going to be there when you feel down, because there's going to be people who want to knock you down. And it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It doesn't matter. You know, it does matter how many times you get up. That's what matters. So it doesn't, don't pay any mind to those people who want to knock you down a peg. I remember when I sold cars, there was a guy who used to sit out on this one particular dealership. Wherever I was, he would follow wherever I was. And he would constantly tell me, "You're too pretty to sit out here and sell cars. You should find yourself a rich man so you don't have to sell cars." He used to tell me that all the time. And I ignored him all the time because he didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I was about. I was actually a single mom for the majority of the time I sold cars. So I literally would do my best to stay away from him and just do my job, because I had the benefit of a good mentor when I started off early in the car business. And that was the way she was the top salesman in the store month after month after month after month after month, is she stayed away from the gossip. She stayed away from the bullshit. She stayed away from all of that in a dealership, and she just concentrated on her customer base and selling cars, and that's it. She's the general manager of that dealership now, by the way. Anyway, because I had the benefit of having her as my mentor very early on, I learned that I wasn't going to get sucked down into that bullshit. I used to have at another dealership, I used to have a sales manager who would just endlessly give me shit. "These socks cost more than your car, ha ha ha," and walk away. Whatever. Ignore it all, because it means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. Next piece of advice: find yourself a good work environment. I'm telling you right now, there is no paycheck that is worth the mental health abuse to my mental health that I took from so many different places, up and including until recently. And there's no paycheck that's worth it. So preserve your mental health for sure. If you make a mistake, if you choose someplace and you realize 3 months in it's a mistake, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to walk away and line yourself up a job somewhere else, but don't be afraid to walk away. There's no shame in making a mistake. Everybody in the car business, every single person that is in the car business has made a mistake in a place they chose to work, a position they chose to take, whatever it may be. But I'll tell you who the winners are in it. The ones who are grown enough to say, "You know what? I screwed up. This isn't for me. I need to go in a different direction." Or, "You know what? Your goals aren't aligning with my goals. I need to move in a different direction." Not even that you made a mistake, just that you realized what kind of company it was and you needed to get the hell out of there. Whatever that choice, whatever that verbiage, that the way that it kind of fans out, if that happens, don't be afraid to own it and then move on. The next piece of advice: go to industry events. That's something I did not do for a very, very long time in my automotive career, was go to any industry events. I didn't ever go to NAD. It's not that I didn't want to, it's just the company I worked for didn't support us going. I didn't go to NADA. I didn't go to Digital Dealer. I didn't even know about Women in Automotive until last year. But go to all of these events. I just found out about another one I think it was December, late last year, I found out about another one that I'm going to go to. So keep researching and asking. That's why you talk to everybody. If you're at a dealership, talk to every vendor that walks in your door. Do you like the company you work for? Why do you like it? How long have you been there? Where would you work if you could work anywhere? Ask them those questions. If you don't want to be in a dealership, figure out an exit plan. If you don't want to be at the company you're at, figure out an exit plan. And make friends with everybody that you encounter, that you possibly can. Now, there's going to be a couple of jerks along the way. I'm not saying you should be friends with them, but there are plenty of good people in the automotive space. Plenty. Make friends with them. Do not be afraid to reach out to someone, introduce yourself. Places like NADA and Digital Dealer are perfect for that. The last Digital Dealer, I actually went up to several people who I'd seen on social media or I knew second and third hand through friends, and just introduced myself and started talking. Turns out almost every one of them had heard of me too. And I don't even think I'm not a big deal at all. So I was absolutely flattered and just floored that they, hey, yeah, I know, I've seen some of your videos, or yeah, so-and-so knows you and they talk really highly of you, or whatever it is. But the car business is a really small world. It's a very small bubble. So absolutely put yourself out there, walk up and start introducing yourself and start talking to people. The next piece of advice. You need to learn as much as humanly possible about your product or your service. So if you sell cars, if you sell BMWs, you better know more about BMWs than any other human being that is at that dealership. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out there and you need to know how to change the oil and rotate the tires and all that shit. Unless you're a service tech, then yes, you probably should know about all that. But if you're in sales, you need to know every nook and cranny of that car. You need to know the order codes. You need to know the vehicle codes. You need to know how people can set up a European delivery of a car. You need to know how to pencil out a lease for a customer. You need to know all of that about your specific vehicle line, every model, every nuance of the brand. Be the subject matter expert for your store. And I'm telling you that for two reasons. One, because it drives the lazy salespeople crazy, which is awesome. And two, you will be the go-to subject matter expert for every customer that walks in there. You will get every turn. You will be the one that everybody goes to. And that in of itself shows a work ethic that is, it's unfortunately, it's few and far between right now within car dealerships. If you're on the vendor side, learn everything you possibly can about everything your company does and every hurt they can solve for a dealership, because that is really where you can have a good relationship and a good partnership with a dealership, is if they know that you have their best interest in mind and you're trying to solve their problems. And I think lastly, don't be afraid to go against the grain. So I thought with a job that I had, that one of the things I had to do was just go along with okay, we're all agreeing to this. All right, we're going all agreeing to this. I guess I'll agree to it too. And it was so stifling and suffocating for me. It definitely affected my mental health. So if you have a differing opinion, do not be afraid to voice it. And if you're at a good company, if you're at the right company for you, they will allow you to voice your differing opinion and they will listen to it. I'm not saying they're going to say everything you say is, sunshine and roses, but if you have a company that will listen to you, you're at the right company. Do not be afraid to go against the grain. Don't ever be afraid to voice your opinion, differing or aligning. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.